Marutaha.
Mandalam 1, Suktam 37B. Rishi,
Kanva Ghaura.
Devata,
Marutaha.
Chandas, Gayatri. Mandalam 1, Suktam 37, Rik 9.
Tiram vijana medham vayo madhurniredave yatsemanudvida savaha.
For their origin is steady, spacious to come forth from the mother, when the power alongside them is doubly so. Disseminating signs as anecdotes. The Maruts are said to be born of Prishni, the variegated cow. Everything in existence is the truth merely because it exists, and the longer it endures, the greater the truth it is. The sky, red atmosphere, has been around since the earth formed, though compositionally varying with time. Light incident at various angles and upon different compositional concentrations of atmospheric air causes the sky to glow in different colors and hues according to the time of the day. Also, a cow being the representation of a repository of truth in Vedic thought, the sky is visualized as a variegated cow to whom are born the Maruts. The sky is their birthplace, which is steady and spacious, except during short intervals in specific locales when the Maruts are up to their mischief. Vast though their place of origin is, their force of expression is far more potent in comparison, extending across this vastness to the earth below, adumbratively imagined to be double that of the extent of the mentioned vastness. This manner of disseminating facts seems to have been the norm of the ancients. Dwelling upon our own exposure to science and its explanations from our times at school, anecdotal explanations appear to be retained in memory far longer than abstract ones involving equations or inequalities. The former are more easily recallable. One can only wonder whether more people were scientifically aware during those times than they are now.
Mandalam 1, Suktam 37, Rik 10.
Besides, those suns stretch out invocations upward to the thundering paths of wind to proceed in their passages on knees. Celebrating nature at its every manifestation. Much indeed is wrought by thought. Action is not only germinated by one, but is also sustained and impelled by it for as long as the action lasts, until it culminates in its intended result. This is perhaps the rationale behind reciting praises and invocations to natural forces and processes to advance the well-being of all. Seekers, read scientists, of the current era too must surely be doing so, except maybe for the differing manner, the modified nomenclatures, and the changed means for accomplishing it. Invocations and praises of the Rigveda, as well as those of other Vedas, if viewed and inferred as being explanations of the workings of natural phenomena, reciting them is like celebrating its expression each time it occurs within our purview, though it is occurring all the time, everywhere in existence. Such celebrations increase our confidence and conviction about the definiteness of happenings, the possibility of they being reasonably understood, and existence being a just place to be living in, personal setbacks and disappointments notwithstanding. This is exactly what scientists of the current era do in their laboratories all the time. The role play of humans in reliving the stormy process happening up in the sky and its repercussions on the surface of the earth is further calibrated by imagining the invocations riding the winds up into the dark clouds and considering their forceful fierceness riding on their knees.
Mandalam 1, Suktam 37, Rik 11.
यं चिद्घातीर्थं प्रथम विहोनपादमनद्धं प्रत्यावयं दियामाभिः.
Indeed, they cause to fall forth by their unceasing motion, even long, wide sun of wetness. Relationships between natural forces. Human-like relationships between natural forces are imagined based on the way they interact in different situations. Some of these forces emerge from such interactions, which make them the offspring of the interacting forces that precede such emergence in the sequence of happenings. Water from oceans in the tropics, heated by sunlight, evaporates into the atmosphere to form clouds. Clouds with sufficient water content become rain-bearing ones that also develop into storms and other extreme weather phenomenon. As the Maruts primarily emerge from water vapor or wetness in the sky, these two entities are referred to as the father and the mother of Maruts. The build-up of electrical charge in rain-bearing clouds, their discharge as lightning, the terrible roar of thunder caused by a lightning strike, and the impetus that it provides to air in its vicinity, making them to move the long and wide clouds along unceasingly until they have emptied themselves as rain and dissipated, leaving a clear bright sky, are all imagined to be the behavioral patterns of the personified Maruts. With time, as the Vedas metamorphose into legends at the hands of imaginative storytellers, the characters of these personifications are embellished with more human tendencies and expressions, diluting the primary indicators that are based on observed facts. This is perhaps the time when factual matter turns mythical, accompanied by its sometimes unpleasant ramifications.
Mandalam 1, Suktam 37, Rik
12.
Maruto yadhavo balam jananvajuchavitana Giringrajuchavitana.
Maruts, when strength is verily yours, you caused living beings to move. You caused mountains to move. Maruts can indeed move mountains. An average storm cloud laden with water in both vapor and liquid forms can weigh about 500 tons and can be about 50 kilometers long and 20 kilometers wide. The largest recorded typhoon had a diameter of 2,200 kilometers, covering an area of about 3.5 million square kilometers. Extrapolating the weight of a large storm cloud to that of such a typhoon, its weight would almost be 2 million tons. This is the mass of matter that the Maruts move around to unleash their fury. Mount Kailash in Tibet has a circumambulation distance of 52 kilometers and its height is 6.656 kilometers from sea level. The approximate volume of the pyramid-shaped Mount Kailash will be 375 cubic kilometers, equal to 375 times 10 to the power of 10 cubic centimeter. Considering a density of 2.8 grams per cubic centimeter, the total mass of Mount Kailash from sea level will be 1050 times 10 to the power of 10 grams, equal to 1050 times 10 to the power of 4 tons, equal to 10.5 million tons. This would mean that the Maruts possess enough strength to move a mountain that is about a fifth as heavy as Mount Kailash. Many smaller mountains would come within this mass range. The claim of the composer that Maruts can move mountains is certainly not without basis. And they move mortals too, mostly by the fear of their immense strength than directly by its application.
Mandalam 1, Suktam 37, Rik
13.
Yadhayanti marutastam vabhruvate dvanna shrunoti kastinedha.
Verily, when Maruts go, they speak altogether on their march, which is verily even heard. The garrulous march of the Maruts. If legends could be divided into two categories, logical legends and illogical ones, Maruts speaking together while they march on doing their mandated tasks is perhaps one of the oldest recorded legends of the first kind. It can be considered as one such because, but for the personification part, everything that is said about them, from their parents, their place of birth, their furious nature, their capabilities, to their speaking together, the devastation they cause, and the larger interest of the well-being of existence being at the core of their seemingly destructive expressions, is based on true happenings and without any misleading embellishments. There are many other legends formulated since the Rigvedic times involving other personified divinities in which the proportion of truth representation is far less than what it is in this one. From a human perspective, the practice of personification is perhaps justified. Understanding a phenomenon is, in a manner, dealing with it. It would be far easier to deal with an entity that is imagined to look like a human and proportionally comparable to the physical dimensions of one, than to deal with an entity that is spread across an area of 3.5 million square kilometers.
Mandalam 1, Suktam 37, Rik
14.
अजादशीभमाशुभिस्तन्ति कन्वेषु बोधुवाः तत्रोषु मादयाध्वैः.
Do go swiftly forward with the ones who are swift. For you, there are activities in intelligence. There, do intoxicate yourselves well. The ineuphoricated Marut. Intoxication, as it is generally understood, and intelligent behavior do not normally go together. Perhaps the correct word in the English language for describing the state of being where application of intelligence leads to a desired result is ineuphorication. If this word is not yet in the English dictionary, it must certainly be added. The usage of the word intoxication to the actions of divinities makes them appear to stumble through the actions in stupor. The unmanifest supreme save an existence regulated so. The phrase swiftly do go forward with the swifts refers to the phenomenon of air along the path of lightning that is heated close to 27,700 degrees Celsius, causing that mass of air to explosively expand at a rate that is faster than 1200 kilometers per hour, which is the maximum speed of wind at sea level. When this explosive wave of air overtakes the normally speeding air around, it creates a shock wave that transforms to a roaring sound wave that we call thunder. So, the swiftly go forward part of the phrase must refer to the explosively expanding air that produces the shock wave, while the swifts part refers to the normally moving air currents. From the perspective of humans, if the personified Maruts are able to go through such involved processes precisely and with similar results every time, that must surely make them to be intelligent. They should be ecstatic every time they meet with success in their endeavors and be subject to ineuphorication.
Mandalam 1, Suktam 37, Rik
15.
अस्ति हिष्मामदाय भस्मजष्माभजमेषाम् विश्वम् जिदायुधीवसे.
Because there is ever for your intoxication. We are ever theirs to live. We even entire life. Our existence dedicated to the divinities and theirs to us. There is indeed ever for the intoxication, or rather ineuphorication of Maruts. Wherever there is an atmosphere around a dense globular mass, whatever be its composition, there is likely to be aggregation of electrical charge in vaporized cloud-like masses floating around in the atmosphere and consequent discharge down into the denser globular mass below, followed by a thundering sound. Maruts are active everywhere in the universe, perhaps even within our material frames with different manner of expressiveness. But they can express themselves only if the other constituents of the system in which they operate are also in place and in appropriate proportions. This is perhaps what is meant to be conveyed by the composer with the words, "We are ever theirs to live, we even entire life." It does not indicate our offer to the Maruts to be available to them. Rather, it emphasizes the interdependence of mortals and immortals or natural forces in making existence what it is. Our lives are for the immortals to articulate their abilities, and their presence is necessary for us to lead our lives as ordained. If you found this video informative and relevant, please like and share it. If you would like to see more such videos in this ongoing series, please do subscribe to the channel. Thank you for viewing.